This past November, the amusement industry was struck with one of the biggest pieces of news of the past couple of years. Six Flags and Cedar Fair, the two biggest amusement parks chains in the United States and massive competitors in the market, announced a merger of the two companies. However, after some information in January and brand new info just this week of February 5th, the merger looks to be in a tough spot. Here's everything you need to know about the Six Flags Cedar Fair merger as of February 2024. Before we get into the new information of January and February, let's talk about the merger itself. Announced on November 2nd, Six Flags announced with Cedar Fair that the two chains will be merging. This is not an acquisition. Six Flags will be merging with Cedar Fair, not buying the chain. As a result of this, Richard Zimmerman, the current CEO of Cedar Fair, would become the CEO of this larger company, taking the Six Flags name. This, in my opinion, is a good choice, as Zimmerman had done great things for the Cedar Fair chain already, bettering the food, atmosphere, and operations around the chain, and this could hopefully spread to the Six Flags parks. The merger was expected to take place in early 2024, probably January. Six Flags would take 49% of the company, while Cedar Fair would take the remaining 51%. Additionally, the headquarters of the chains would move from Sandusky in Dallas to Charlotte, North Carolina. However, what a lot of enthusiasts were worried about was the negative changes in both chains, such as less thrill rides, worsening atmosphere, etc. However, Cedar Fair Parks as of now will not be taking the Six Flags name, and no major changes to the parks will be seen in 2024. Now, this was all revealed in early November, and it took the industry by storm. People were worried about the future, but some people were optimistic, saying that new coasters could be added in the chain. However, everyone needs to remember that this is not a deal for the enthusiasts to get new rides. This is an economic deal and is benefiting both chains economically after the pandemic. New rides will come eventually, but I feel like the enthusiasts, and probably even myself, were a little optimistic. With that said, I also think the companies were too optimistic about this whole deal, and that leads us to January. In January of 2024, the Department of Justice, who was reviewing this massive merger, requested additional information about the merger from Six Flags and Cedar Fair. This greatly pushed back the merger to at least May, which is up to 5 months past when the companies originally thought the merger would take place. Obviously, they weren't expecting this from the Department of Justice. Six Flags and Cedar Fair are working together on this additional information, and as of January, the companies were still eager to merge and confident that the deal would go through. So, with the deal pushed back to May, that means economically, the chains are both pushed back further than originally expected. Obviously, they expected the deal to go through easily in January. This was not the case. But here comes the issue. In addition to needing new information, the shareholders of Cedar Fair and Six Flags need to also vote for approval. This, to say the least, has caused some issues in February. All of this information I have is straight from the Sandusky Register, the news source in Sandusky, home of Cedar Point and Cedar Fair's headquarters. Rockland, forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, is the top shareholder of Cedar Fair, holding 3.4%, and has taken stand publicly against the merger with the Sandusky Register. Apparently, Six Flags wants to pay $85 million to their own shareholders to make it appear that Cedar Fair was merging with Six Flags instead of the other way around. Because of this, Cedar Fair's board wouldn't need a vote from its shareholders to be approved. Under that arrangement, under the Department of Justice's terms, the merging company needed to have a majority vote approval. Under Six Flags' terms with that new deal, Cedar Fair shareholders wouldn't need a vote for approval, just Six Flags shareholders. This, to say the least, made Cedar Fair shareholders very angry. According to Rockland, Cedar Fair basically paid $85 million to Six Flags shareholders so they wouldn't need to vote. Now, Six Flags has the right to walk away from the deal and the right to vote, while Cedar Fair shareholders do not. Rockland and other shareholders believe now that the proposed merger is a bad idea for Cedar Fair shareholders in every way. The Sandusky Register even stated that a local investor is working on meeting with up to 400 shareholders to decide how to respond. So, the people who need to vote on this proposed merger don't have the best opinion on it right now. So the chances of the merger actually happening have definitely gone down. Additionally, dividends for shareholders are being put on hold until after the merger. And because it was delayed already, it now looks like they will resume all the way in 2026. Now, Cedar Fair stated that the merger will minimize debts economically but will maximize shareholder ownership. However, Rockland and other shareholders met with Cedar Fair's board, asking if they wanted to seek input from the shareholders, to which Cedar Fair gave no response. Now, if you would like to read any of this for yourself, it's linked in the description down below. Full credit to the Sandusky Register for this. To sum it up quickly, shareholders of Cedar Fair may not be able to vote on the merger anymore and are losing money, so they are furious with the merger and are against it. They took publicly with the Sandusky Register, so there is a bad outlook right now about the merger. In addition, the merger was delayed further and gave no information on when the deal was set to close. So, what do I think about all this? Is the merger going to go through? I think the merger is definitely still in the works, and the companies still appear very confident in their plans. The merger most likely will still occur this year, but I think this put a dent in their plans. Obviously, the chains didn't expect the merger to be delayed until May, and they thought allowing Six Flags to take primary vote would be a good idea, which it clearly wasn't. Cedar Fair shareholders aren't thrilled with the outcome. The merger probably won't be occurring in May anymore and may be pushed back even further. Additionally, the chain has yet to provide the additional information requested by the Department of Justice. Economically, the chains will be fine, especially Cedar Fair, but this definitely wasn't anticipated. As mentioned, shareholder dividends are being delayed further until the merger has a final outcome, which again isn't ideal, and shareholders aren't happy about that either. So I still think the deal is happening, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the merger is a good idea, and will it happen? Either way, there won't be a lot of changes occurring in the parks in 2024. However, just for fun and games, let's quickly discuss any possible changes we could see in the later years, like 2025 and 2026. The biggest changes I see occurring in the parks, maybe even in 2024, is just from an operations-based standpoint. With Zimmerman being CEO, if the deal goes through, the higher quality Cedar Fair operations and operating systems are going to spread over to the Six Flags parks. This hopefully will improve maintenance on the Six Flags rides and increase operating speeds. Compared to Cedar Fair, Six Flags more consistently has slower dispatches, more downtime, and one-train operations. As Cedar Fair takes over, I hope the more consistent dispatches, two-train operations, and less downtime will become prevalent at Six Flags parks. In addition, Cedar Fair parks are typically cleaner, prettier, and are almost more modern in a way. I again hope this spreads to the Six Flags parks, which sometimes feel dated. The headlining Six Flags parks are pretty good, but smaller Six Flags parks could use some advice from Cedar Fair. Also, if the merger occurs, there will be a lot of brands in the parks. Cedar Fair has the Peanuts, while Six Flags has DC and Bugs Bunny. I wonder if we will slowly but surely see the kiddie areas and themed areas merge into these brands. Or maybe we could see one of the brands, probably Bugs Bunny or Peanuts, completely scrapped for the other. Bugs Bunny, to me at least, seems better for kids than the Peanuts, but that's just me. I have no information about attendance of the kiddie sections at either chain. For that, we'll just have to wait and see. Again, this was an economic merger, so thrill rides and rides in general probably won't be affected by this. We'll still see 2 to 3 big coasters per year in each chain, with high-quality rides going to the bigger parks in the chain. I hope that construction at the Six Flags parks will be more consistent with Cedar Fair standards, though, with hopefully more on-time openings. But that's really all the information and all I have to say about the merger for now. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Comment what you think of the merger, if it will occur, and what you hope for the future. Have a great rest of your day.